Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Down Over. We are in our pre-show right now. This is going to be a short pre-show because we've been pretty much chatting a bit. Everything seems to be working. Shots are working. It is a nice and windy Friday over here in Southern California, Camarillo to be precise. How's your weather holding up over there?
Well, it's actually the pretty same. It's gone like we go straight from summer to winter.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
But then next week it's going back to summer. I think it's back to a few hot days. But this all of a sudden was hot, and now it's a bit chilly. Even thinking of putting the heater on.
Wow. No, it's funny. We let's see. This week was a good week at home. We had termite repairs. That was 3 days of almost 4 days of them coming out and repairing things. Then we had a broken water heater, which was fixed. Then we had a broken air conditioner, which will be fixed on Monday. I'm going, all in 1 week. Must be Canon sabotage.
But that's the trouble is that you tend to forget when you buy things, and it's usually in big chunks.
I know.
And that's when people retire, then they get all this big expense because they forgot 20 years ago they bought the fridge, the air conditioner, the TV, and then all of a sudden they retire, and all those products decide to kick the bucket.
Yeah, I think our air is already 12 years old. It's 11 or 12 years old. Our water heater was 22 years old. And fortunately, it didn't require that much repair. Neither did the AC, but it's parts. And we haven't tented our house. You know, in California, you have to tent your houses for termites every 5 or 6 years. But frankly, we didn't do it in about 11. And yet, the amount of repairs was cheaper than the whole termiting we did 11 years ago. So I'm not unhappy.
Oh, that's good.
So anyway, why don't we start? Let's see. We'll start the show recording in 3, 2, and 1. Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Down Over. I am now in the position of power again. Jeff took that over for 2 weeks. He loved it, you know. He really did. Jeff Blanchard next to me, 7,000 miles away or so. How you doing today, Jeff?
Good, thank you, Rick. I'm working on a device that will allow me to switch your scenes remotely.
That's right. That's right.
And so we'll have to investigate that.
That'll be fun. And let me just do this so you can see that. And let's play our intro.
Yeah. What's that you've got there, Rick?
The GH4.
You still haven't got the GH5.
But I'm picking both of them up tomorrow.
I was going to say I've been seeing people.
Yep. I talked to Larry, and he said they had 70 come in. So I was one of the first pre-orders, so I got 2. They have another 100 on order because there were about 170 pre-orders. There's a lot of pre-orders for this camera. But we ordered 2 some time ago, and so we're picking them up. Only one, I had to kind of split my order between Sammy's and B&H because he didn't have more than one battery grip and one of the XLR connectors.
Oh, okay.
So I bought the other stuff in one lens from them. I just, you know when you have credit on one thing and then you have credit on another. So I split the credit up because one's getting maxed and the other one had nothing on it. So I buy a lot from Sammy's, and I love Sammy's. If you're in the LA area or coming to LA, they're a great place to buy your video and audio gear and cameras. They're great. They're fun. Go see Larry Leratana. He's our sales rep. He's a good friend. We've been working with him almost 17 years. So he was like 12 when we met him. He was still in diapers, but he's doing really well. So anyway, but I'm practicing. This is kind of looks like it's a little bit smaller than the GH5, and you notice the mic I have on it.
Yes, that's the one I was really interested in. That set, it's about a $600 one, isn't it?
No, it's about $800. Unless it's gone down, it was about $800 when we got it.
Oh, well, it's $700 here, so it must be cheaper there now.
It must have gone down because it was expensive. It was a lot of money originally. I think we paid $800 for it. And I went, oh. But it was so unique, we got it. Now, this is the Rode VideoMic Pro X. And that's because if I take this little rubber geodesic dome off, I don't know if you can see it well with the lights, but there are two cross mics, and they're pretty large capsules. And those mics capture everything in front of and to the sides of this microphone, of the whole unit. And it does a great job to capture ambient noise. So all your backgrounds, and it will give you a very, if you're out in the woods and you want to hear everything going on, just set this on a tripod or however you shoot, and you'll pick up all the background. But it also does a really good job of picking up foreground, like voices and everything else. It's a very nice microphone. It is expensive. Is it worth the money? I don't know. Probably. It seems a little expensive for what it is, but, you know, I mean, you could get the same results probably out of a Zoom or some other field recorder, but it is a cool mic. It's very well engineered. This is a Rycote. I guess it's not a shock mount, but it's a Rycote filter for the microphone, so noise doesn't come in. In the back, it's a little hard to see, but there's a lot of buttons for gain, for adjustment. It's quite a unique mic.
I've seen quite a few videos on that, and what I like about it, and like you said, the ambient noise. But as you said, you might be able to get something like a Zoom and that to do it. But let's face it, we're all a bit lazy on time these days, and if you put it on a Zoom, then you've got to match that sound up with the video. And to have that on the camera, and I've seen some people do that. Just say, for instance, a street scene in New York with it pouring down with rain, and just the sound of the rain falling around you, it just, because it gives you that real surround sound when you put even on YouTube, when you put it on a decent set, just two sets of two speakers. And that's what I like about it. And I'm not too sure about you, but whenever I do any videoing, and if I put anything together, I might, if there's a voice there, I might have a lav mic and dub over the correct voice and sync it with it. But I always like to have the background noise of what it was filmed in, whether it's low noise or whatever. I never just have it silent, because then I have to go into post and put some sort of noise in the background. And these cameras these days with those mics do quite an acceptable sound. Like you said before, that unless you've got the FZ1000 where it's got the chugging along there, but I think that's only because you're using the internal mic. If I use one of the Video Pro X, I think that stops a lot of that noise.
No, it'll pick it up.
Maybe not. It'll pick it up. That one,
no, in fact, I tried this mic first when I got home on my FZ1000 or FZ1000, depending where you are, and it really picked it up, and it picked it up in kind of stereo actually.
And that's the thing, it would make it even a little bit worse on that. As you were saying about the FZ1000, FZ1000, just have to tell you, Jeffrey K. Holbrook on the Weekly Catch-Up, he'd never heard anybody calling a Z until we started talking.
Oh, how funny. Okay.
Just, I thought it's still, and we were saying that it's usually only America that says it, the rest of the world says. And it's strange how these things happen, isn't it?
Yeah, if you hear anybody saying Z, that's not a guy from the South. That's actually a Z here. Yeah. So these are all the little slight quirks between English and real English.
And like somebody calls it's not an American, but I always have to laugh when they're referring to the Rode mics. They call them Rody.
Rody, yeah.
Then I always have to have a little giggle. But I thought, hey, I'll bet I pronounce something in their language totally ridiculous as well. So I never have a go at people the way they do it.
Yep.
And so you've got the handle, the battery grip for the new GH5.
Yeah, so what I had to order was,
how
unfortunately,
much did that cost you?
The battery grips are expensive. They're $350 now. This one was only like $200, I think, and it's not compatible with the GH.
No, because it's bigger the GH5.
It's a little bit bigger, and unfortunately, they're not compatible. So, and I'm going to keep my GH4. I don't think I'm going to sell it. I think I'm going to keep it, probably because I like it so much.
because the thing is, it's for what you would get for it, it's just not worth it. Say, because you can buy them for about $1,000, I think, can't you? The body, so you'd have to sell it for $500 because it's years old. And you said, well, I'll just keep that as a backup if my other ones don't come. And all your lenses for that you've got, that you're using
they fit for all of them.
And the Metabones will that Metabones will still fit for the GH5.
Oh, everything does. All my lenses fit. So
and that's the good thing. So if you're already into that ecosystem for the Panasonic, so what I'm interested for you to find when you first get it is to do some recording with the inbuilt mic,
right, and see how good it is.
Just see, and because they reckon it's got a separate mic, not in the same traditional position that all other cameras do have, that it won't pick up any of the camera noise, because that 5 stable access, the stabilization, that will, I'm sure that should make some noise, because it's a physical engine movement, isn't it? It's moving the sensor, so there's got to be a lot of noise, well, a bit of noise in there. But I've been watching this week Hugh Brownstone's. He sounds like he's been a bit crook the other week. He got one of the pre-production.
But he sent it back already.
Go on, and he's been doing quite some good little videos, doing the doing it at 120 frames a second, and then comparing that with the 180 frames a second on the.
It actually
GH5.
looked really good. I didn't see much difference at all between the Sony and the Panasonic. I thought they were both really. He was even surprised. And in fact, when he did one where he had them side by side, I actually liked the Panasonic better, and I couldn't tell which one was which. That's before I'd read. I was trying deliberately not to look at the bottom.
And that's where, when he starts off with, he was comparing it with what it was, so the Sony 6300, the A6300. And he says, he does say it's not as good as the 6300 in spec. But so what? He said there's so much more. He said just look at the pictures, and that's the thing a lot of people don't do with any camera that they do get. They just look at the specs, but you've got to look at the other all-round performance of it.
Right.
Like
now, there's no crop on the video anymore. So the crop's gone. However, the lenses still are the equivalent. So, for example, if I get a 12 to 60, which I ordered. The 12 to 60 millimeter, that's the f2.8 to 4.0. That one gets really good reviews, and that one is equivalent to 24 to 120, which is a nice zoom.
But it's just what people have got to remember with the video crop, that they get a bit confused with sometimes and might get upset with buying it. They think there's no crop on the video. But what they do mean is there is a 2 times crop with the micro four thirds. When you usually go to video, there's a 2.3 crop.
Right.
But what that means with there's no crop, it's still just a 2. So it's the same crop that you get with a still shot as you would a video. But sometimes people say there's no crop and think, oh, it's like a full frame. Well, it'd be a full frame then, wouldn't it?
It would be, yes. And that would be the big scam of them all. Yeah.
And the difference that I've seen when they've shown you like the GH4, a picture, and then the video, how much it crops off, it's quite amazing. You just think that's that 0.2 or 0.3 makes such a difference that it is cropping off in the video.
Right, so the wide-angle lenses aren't so wide.
No. But what's your feeling, though, Rick, with the FZ1000? What I've been doing lately is with the still shots in the FZ1000, I've been shooting in 16:9.
Okay, yeah.
Reason being I'm doing that because a lot of the things I would put still pictures in, I'll put them into a video timeline.
Yep, that's what I do. I tend to shoot the same way, 16:9. Because it looks better when you go into a video. You could shoot 4:3 and then just make it fit when you get into the video. 4:3 will probably give you more pixels used. It's going to be more in the middle, but you can stretch it a little bit.
Yeah. But I was thinking I like to be able to match the frame, so at least it fills the frame and you can do different things on that. I have been noticing lately, how when you watch films and videos, I've just been noticing a lot lately, everybody's recording in 4K.
Yes.
And the reason I can notice that is because they keep doing different zoom in angle shots with a single shot.
Yep.
So I'll know that just cropping, that just use the downsampling it to 1080 or whatever, and then just keep clicking in, out.
Right.
And but now I'm getting a bit sick of that. I'm thinking, if I ever do, I'm never going to do that, because it's annoying me quite a lot to see all these different things on that. But it was just, as I said, Hugh was saying on that one, what did he say? In the low light, he was comparing the two.
They look good in low light. I didn't see a lot of noise, frankly.
And that's what he said. You cannot. He said, what you'd have to really analyze, blow it up, and really go in there. He said, but who cares? And he said, when you look at a film, a multi-million-dollar film, well, that's right. You've got noise in that, and that's planned noise. They plan to have that, and he just said. And so, life is like that. Sometimes you do want to see a bit grainy in some areas and that, but even on his examples, when he said, "Oh, there's a bit of noise there," I looked, I just couldn't see it, and that's like he said. If you have to go looking for it, is it really worth saying it's bad? He said it's pretty darn good, and like you've got the things of the Sony A7S Mark II that goes down to really, really low light, but in most cases, what do people need that for? The people who are going to be doing the more professional things, it still probably won't be the quality for them. They'll still have external lights for them. So, we don't need to.
In essence, what I ordered for the GH5 is the body. I ordered a battery grip. I ordered one of the XLR converters.
Oh yes, that's good.
And that's it. And then of course we ordered 2 of the cameras, 2 of the battery grips, and 1 of the XLR converters. And I did buy one of the 12 to 60 millimeter f2.8 to 4.0. That's the upgraded kit lens. That the kit lens is about $500, and that for $100 you get that. That's not a bad kit lens, but I wanted the better, and that was like 5.6 to. Or 3 point something to 5.6, and I thought it was okay, but it didn't have the sharpness of the better one. And it's also optical image stabilized. They both are, and they said they're great video lenses. So I bought one lens. It was about $950 for that lens. Not a cheap lens.
I think it's a bit like they've got the GH5 here with the kit with the 12 to 60.
Right.
But I think it's a bit of an insult to say it's the kit lens, really, because usually when you say kit lens, it's usually the rubbish that can't sell.
Well, no, sometimes I know Nikon.
A really good one.
Nikon sells a kit lens that's I think the 24 to 105 or something like that.
That's really good.
And that's $1,000 lens by itself.
But that's what, as I said, they should not say kit lens. I think they should say the lens that they've matched together with it, because it sounds, when you say kit lens, to me, it always sounds like you've got the inferior, even though you have like that GH5, that 12 to 60, and I don't know, because we have the kits here. I don't think they're actually doing the Panasonic in the kit form there. You have to just buy it separately.
No, they are. There is a kit, but it's the lower end 12 to 60. It's not the 2.8.
2.8 though.
Not
it
here.
Is 2.8.
Yeah, not here.
Oh, it's not. It is here. The one here is the f2.8.
Yeah, because here it's only $100 more, and I would have gotten 2 of those for. Because that's $1,000 lens, but no, it's the $400 lens or $450.
Well, that makes sense, because here it's an extra $800 onto the body.
So you get a little bit of a discount. You get like $200 off.
But that's where here they put that one there. So it is the top end.
Right.
Because I thought, I was glad of that, because I thought when you said that it was the other ones, the cheaper one.
Oh, that's an F. I think it's 3.6 to 5.6.
That's what. Yes, and definitely that's what I thought. The other one is the 2.8.
So it's not as fast, but if you're doing video, it's probably good enough. And the other one just seemed like better glass, a little bit better laid out. That's why I decided to go for the higher end one. And the motor is quieter.
You'll be much happy with that.
And it's got a much quieter motor. They said you can't even hear it.
And that's the one that's really built for the GH5 as well, isn't it? That was that's engineered, built along with GH5. And what was it? The 12 to 30 they've got.
12 to 30, 12 to 35. I've got that one. That's on this right now. But this is, I think, the first generation. I think they came out with a new one that is, I think, maybe doesn't telescope out. This one still telescopes. But this is a really good lens. It's a good video lens. It's optical image stabilized. It's a great lens. Not unhappy with it. When I got it, it was about 900 something bucks too. So it was not cheap. They kind of get you on these lenses. And the other one I have two other, well, I have three other, but I've got the Nocticron, which is the 42.5. That's an equivalent to an 85 millimeter. That lens is amazing. It's f1.2, super fast. You could be in pitch black and it'll pick up stuff. It's quite a lens. And I also have one that I like, which is the 15 millimeter f1.7. So that's equivalent almost to about a 30 millimeter, give or take. And that's a nice lens, but it's not OIS, so there's no optical image stabilization. And it got me at one of the shows I went to where I was taking a lot of pictures and they were all blurry. I went, It killed me. I was really mad at myself on that. I was at about 60, a shutter speed of 60, and I should have been at 125.
It makes me laugh at what I was just thinking back the other month. I was going through some old gear and I found an old video light. And it was the old video light that was bought from the 8mm film camera, and I switched it on, and I looked like a vampire because it was about 3,000 watts.
Oh gosh!
But back in then you had that, and it would still be dark.
Yes, I know.
And I thought you can't even use that because I said it would fry you in front of the camera now, and
that's
you
so
just
true.
Wouldn't see and no adjustment, but you just open it and it went.
And it's funny because a lot of people get that confused, and they'll say that the modern sensors are just much more sensitive, and they have high ISO sensitivity. Not really. This is a common mistake everybody makes, and that's that ISO is not sensitivity; it's gain. It's how much gain you add to the signal, and that's just like in video cameras and camcorders, they call it gain.
And that's what I said. That's what makes it more sense to us when you're doing video, because you don't have an ISO. No. You just have the noise gain, and it's called for noise, isn't it? It's gain.
It's how much gain, how much power are you adding to that signal to make it brighter? But it's really gain. It has nothing to do with the actual chip sensitivity.
Another thing, what I've found a lot of people do as well with lighting and all that with video is. Everybody loves to use auto, but in this sort of situation, they have auto on, put all the lights on, and they get negative response.
I know.
Because auto it says it's too bright. I want to cut it down. So you've got to do it on manual so you can do the light correctly.
Yeah.
But they said automatic's great, but as you said, it's always best to know your camera so at least you can get the little things out. Because even if you use it automatic. Most of the time, there's going to be those things where there's somebody's head in the way, and the autofocus will only pick up on their head, no matter what you do. So
now, this is where I'm curious. I know Hugh said it was pretty amazing, the autofocus of the GH5. I've never been the biggest fan of the autofocus on the GH4. It's a little spotty. It's not been my favorite, but the new one looks like it's a lot better. I'm going to see how good it is. As good as Fuji? Maybe. We'll have to see.
But the thing is, I like with all of these ones, though, and in my experience, when the focus starts hunting, and it is only because there is something flapping around in the breeze that I found that's attracting it. But sometimes if you get that, that, and you're still doing that manual focus.
Yep.
But what I like, and what I think you like with that GH5 is with that 3-position pull focus.
Yes, that's pretty cool.
So if you've got a scene with 3 people in it, and you can have it on the tripod set. Well, I wanted to go to that one, to that one, to that one, and then the dialogue makes you go back to. You can just set that and just say, "Yep, 1, 2, 3."
That's pretty cool.
And that's really is good. But even when you touch pull, where if you just touch on your screen, that next focus point, it just seems to do that so well. But as I said, most cameras, as they said, they struggle sometimes, but they might be quick. But sometimes I don't mind it. Well, if it's not too quick, because sometimes it's too quick, I don't like that jerkiness. It's got to be quick. but
right.
smooth.
Yep,
and that's what
yeah.
I've always been happy with the G8, the FZ1000, and that's not as good as the G85. And the G85, everybody's been saying that's pretty good, and that's got the same technology as the GH5.
Well, they're calling the G85 like a mini GH5.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of the same tech. Yeah, so I'm curious to see how the focus really works with objects moving. On still objects, or if you're controlling it, it's pretty good. But when things were moving, it wasn't great before. It would hunt.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's a big difference. This has 49 focus points. The new one, I think, has what, 260?
I think,
or 249, 260? That's a lot more focus points, finally.
And that makes a difference. But I was showing somebody else with some other camera. They were saying they've got all these focus points. But I said, yeah, that's great. It's got all these focus points, but it depends on what you're doing. You've got the single focus point, and that's better if you know what you want to focus on. Sometimes it might pick up on the wrong thing if you've got if everything's in the shot, that's fine. But if there's one prominent thing that's just in front, but you can't see it with your eye, it will pick up on that.
Yep.
And then that's what gets a lot of people say, down autofocus. I said, no, but there was this whopping great big thing, 3 feet in front, but you just looked past it. You didn't see it. Whereas if you have that single point focus, and if you know that, that's pretty accurate. But a lot of people just don't know how to change them on the cameras. And like on the Panasonic, it's so easy. Mm-hmm. One little button, and it just click, you're there. Yep. Click, you're back.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's what I like with all the Panasonics, form factor with their menus. Everything to me is so easy. Even a Canon, I can't change that as quickly as I can on a Panasonic. I can do that without thinking on the Panasonic, but I have to consciously go, now which one is this on the Canon? Take my eye off, do this. Whereas I can do that while I'm still looking through the viewfinder on my Panasonic. So
now I was going to ask you, did you pre-order yet?
Well, I was going to lie and say I've pre-ordered mine and I've got mine in my hand here. I was going to say that because it's April 1st today, so I was going to say do it as an April, but I thought, no, I better not, because it'll get everybody else upset if they'll take it seriously. Yeah. But I'm going to wait until it comes out, because, as I said, like we always say, I don't need it, I just want it.
You just want it. Actually, and there's going to be a bit of a backlog, because supposedly the demand was much higher than they expected. And there's going to be a catch-up. That's what I've been hearing, that there could be delays of 2 to 4 weeks to even get cameras right now. Yeah. Except for the pre-orders. A lot of the pre-orders they knew were coming, but they got even more of those than they expected. So,
and that's probably like like it would be good business to build the anticipation, especially when they know it's there. They'd rather than releasing it 3 weeks ago, wouldn't got half as much business on that. But, I'll be excited to see what happens. But when you bought yours there, did you get the free vlog?
I don't know.
Because they all offering that here with the pre-orders.
Maybe. But you know what? I probably won't. I won't film in vlog. I really don't like grading.
It's too much work, and plus it's too much. You have to, if you do that, you can't say, oh, I won't grade this one. You've got to.
You have to. There's no choice. It's gray.
You've got to do that. So
yeah, I may try it, but I probably won't. I'm not that much into grading. For most of what we do, it's just a waste of time. But and you have to be really good at grading to make it look good. It's just if your eyes aren't as good or your colors aren't as good, it's going to look awful.
Yeah, and I find the camera in just one of the profiles, they do a pretty good. Like if you do the Cinema D, I think it is one of that gives you that vibrant color and really nice color. And let's face it, most of the things we do film, we take ages just to put it together anyway if we're just doing it for ourselves. And then if we have to grade it, it will never get graded. And somebody in 50 years is going to see this horrible film and say, is this black and white or color?
That's right.
Because it looks like it's not black and white, but it's not color.
Now, do you remember when they first started colorizing all the black and white movies?
Yes.
Everybody had black lips.
Black teeth.
The teeth were so either bright or just yellow. It was awful. The coloring looked so fake.
Because they were black and because they couldn't get into the mouth, so the mouth, all in the mouths and teeth were black and white.
Yep.
But everything on the outside was colored.
Now the new method, when they've gone back and redone them now with the tech the way it is, you really can't tell it wasn't shot in color.
No,
they're amazing.
It's fantastic.
It's really quite incredible because now they understand all the values, the hue and everything. They know exactly how to translate that. It's pretty amazing.
And like now with I think with like all the cameras, like you can shoot in RAW, and then you can also have a JPEG that's already in black and white.
Yep, that's true.
So you don't have to produce them if you shoot nice, because that's the thing is a lot of people are out there taking photos, going back to Photoshop, touching them up, fixing them up, where the true artist takes the photo and just shows it.
You know, it's funny. Before I used to take pictures and then always touch them up or Photoshop something. You know, I have not done that in years, probably 2 to 3 years. Whatever I put out there is what's coming right out of camera, and that makes me. I don't know why, but it makes me happy.
It does, because I think that's the artistry of a picture. Like these photojournalists, they go and they take the picture, and that's it.
That's it.
They can't. They used to just send the picture through. They haven't got time to touch them up. And plus, when you're doing it professionally, you can't.
Right.
You've got to show it how it is. But
if you do want to touch up, there's nothing wrong with it. And you can some of the pictures that result out of touching up are amazing. But I don't know. For me, there's just a certain pleasure out of taking a shot. You go, wow, look at the clouds, look at the sky. And you take it, and it comes out like what you're looking at. And then you go, that was good. That was just good. That was a good shot. And that means you're cooperating with nature, because nature's not going to tell you, by the way, come back here at 2 o'clock and you'll have a beautiful shot. Yeah.
And that's the thing is yes, that's fine if you're putting a collection together and you let people know these are all altered images.
Yeah.
But a lot of people show their, that's beautiful. How did you get that? But it's not. It's fake a lot of the time. When you watch Tony and Chelsea, they go through all their images and they just double click and zoom up, and they can say, I can tell straight away that it's been touched up.
Interesting.
All the lines have that blare across it, so you know when somebody's brightened up the sky too much. And they say, just watch that, because if you're just touching it up a little, you shouldn't get that. But you say, because you might just adjust the exposure a little bit, that might do it. But if you blow this, like these really vibrant skies, nearly everybody's brightened it up too much, but you can see that any lines in there, it's got that fuzzy mark on there. But that's what I like. I've got a friend of mine who puts a lot on Instagram, and all she does is take the photo and puts it up on there. And that's why I think she does some fantastic shots. And she's got this one there that's just half with some soldiers walking up the thing and half with a face. And I just that was but all it was just the soldiers and a concrete wall that had a face painted in on it.
Right.
But it just looks like somebody's done 2 pictures together. But they're the sort of things I really like, that get you thinking. And sometimes when I look at my photos, I think I don't like a lot of my photos. I enjoy taking them, but I love these people who just got these just awesome photos that you just look at and think, oh, they must have waited hours for that. And I think they've got up early to get that right moment. And how many hundreds more did they do just to get that one perfect shot? That's
true. Now, it's interesting, just changing subjects before we wrap up. I was looking at some of the financial news on some of these companies. Canon's not doing that well, at least as far as the photo area. Panasonic just declared, what was it, $46 billion in losses? They're going to be, I think, laying off 16,000 people, consolidating departments, less gear, less TVs, less cameras. So, wow, there's some stuff going on. Sony, they went down several billion. They're having a lot of issues. Now, mind you, Panasonic and Sony have a lot of other divisions. So does Canon. Nikon is doing horribly. They're really doing badly. And I was just watching somebody. Who was it? Was it Ken Wheeler? It might have been Ken Wheeler. No, it was another guy. He's a Chinese guy out of Vancouver. I can't remember his name. He's pretty good. He was talking about how some of these companies, they're hurting, but he said Canon, for example, has 200,000 employees.
So 2,000.
Yeah, Fujifilm has 84,000, and they're not hurting right now. They're doing okay because they're a little more focused and they're not as expensive. Panasonic has, I forgot what it was, 300,000-400,000. But they're in everything. They have a lot of different divisions, and then you have 28,000 for Nikon, not a lot. And then I think he was saying Hasselblad has 200. So he goes, you can see, how companies are doing by the number of employees, how many are dedicated to this, and if the revenues they're losing, are they all related to photo and imaging? Some of them are. A lot of it is just saturation of the marketplace. There's too many TVs, and
But also, well, Rick, it gets to that stage. Remember when we had the 35 millimeter cameras, so just the normal ones.
Yeah.
There was people like us who took photos, and there's always the people going into the camera shops.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, a good digital came in, and the whole world wanted to take photos. So
I know.
They've ramped up production. They've ramped up got all these things happening. Now it's getting to the stage. A lot of people who wanted to have got something, and iPhones. Everybody's got something to take in him. And even if it wasn't for the iPhone, the cameras don't just disintegrate after 5 years. They're still damn good. And a lot of people have got it and said, well, no, that's good enough for me. And now it's getting the same thing what happened with the TV industry. When plasma and all that came out, nobody had them. They all had the old cathode ray tubes. And so it was quite a boom, and that boosted on the Panasonics, the Sonys and the Samsung, because everybody, and now that's getting to that stage where, well, what more can they do? They've got they're having trouble getting somebody to dump their old plasma, which is still damn good. All they can seem to do is say, I've got a one twice as big, but the quality, and that's sort of suffering there. And it's just sort of the way of the world. There's got to be what's the next new thing? And they keep I was listening to somebody saying about Apple that they've had nothing really new, and like they did the iPhone. They took a phone and created something. They've done nothing. But what's going to be the new thing for anybody? Yeah. Because everybody seems to be doing is making things bigger, faster, different colors. But there's got to be something.
Well, like for example, in TVs, if you look at the new OLEDs that are going to be coming out, you're looking at thin, really thin, and we're talking like 2 to 5 millimeters thin for the screens. That's you put it on a wall. That's really thin. So I think we're getting to that. We're going to get to projectors. We're going to get to foldable screens where you start with a little cell phone, and then you open it up to a full page size. So they're doing stuff like that. It's going to come out soon. By the way, the new Samsung Galaxy 8 and the 8 Plus have now been announced. I'm going to be ordering the 8 Plus. It's going to be out, I think, on the 21st of April. And I hope this time it doesn't blow up.
I don't think it will. And I'm sad to see them having problems, but it's good to see that they've got them, because no matter what, they do good quality, good item, the technology in them, and they are one of the best phones. I think if you don't like an Apple, you've got to go to the Samsung. All the rest try, and like you've tried a lot of the others, but they don't compete with the Samsung, do they? You always go, they try to tell you, like the LG had tried to compete, and she said, "Oh, this is much better than the Samsung," but it didn't. They do such a good job, so I'm really hoping it works out.
And the design,
the
styling of the S8 is just incredible. It looks like something out of space. It's so beautiful. It's got double glass both sides, very pretty. Almost no bezels at all.
And that's what they say is bigger, but it said it's bigger in size than the screen size, but not
the size of the device. Yeah, so it's a 6.2-inch screen, but your phone doesn't change. That's cool.
No, so it just makes me sad for Samsung some of the time, because I see around the world with the people you talk to that these people who've been die-hard Android people have gone to iPhones. And they said, I know I like iPhones, but it still is.
See, I've had 4.
You don't want them to die. You don't want Android to die. I want Android and them to survive too. If it's good for competition.
Yeah, see, I've had 4 iPhones from the initial one all the way up to the 4S, and I had no interest in the 5. I thought it was too small.
No.
And at that point, I went to Android, and I haven't looked back. I'm pretty happy. But I'm like that way with all Apple products. I'm pretty fed up with iMacs that have one thing go wrong and it costs you $1,100 or $1,500 to fix stupid mistakes that they made, and then they charge you a fortune to fix. I was going, yeah, I'm pretty fed up with Apple. It's just me.
Well, they just haven't come out with anything new. Like they've just had an iPhone and just make it bigger, a bit faster.
Right. No iMac in what, 2 years already? 2 or 3 years?
And that's right. And there's still people screaming out there, but you see, it's not a big market for them anymore. So,
no.
But maybe it would, because the iMac was doing real well. It's the great one with all-in-one for video editors, even better than the Mac Pro.
Yeah, but you know what? Cases. What happens is when something goes bad, you got to take your whole machine in. You can't upgrade it, and they charge you a fortune to fix it. Yeah, I'm done. We have two high-end iMacs, and I'm not buying another one again.
But I'm sure there's the other equivalents, because everybody seems to start doing the same things these days. Whatever you get a replacement for, you'll still end up doing. So unless you get the old-fashioned box and build it yourself, and that's
what we do.
Clunky, but if you've got it in the office, hey, you've got this whopping great big box, but it still is the cheapest, and you'll get the fastest machine.
And that's what we do now. Actually, it's thanks to Apple we started doing that. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, because you were forced to do it.
We had no choice. Otherwise, I liked Apple originally. Then I'm not that impressed with the later operating systems. I don't think they're as clean or run as nice.
Because I know when I first met you, you was definitely all Windows, had not one single Apple thing, did you?
No, we did. We had. We still had a couple.
When I first met.
I had the Mac Minis. We were doing the Mac Minis, and I had one, and we had two older iMacs, which were the 24 inches. We did have two of those. They were every one of them was high end. So I have spent probably $30,000-$40,000 on Apple products with my Macs, but I'm done.
So you can't say you haven't given them a go.
No, I gave them a good go, and I tried, and I liked it. But then I look this way and I go, I can be faster, better, and cheaper. Yeah, okay, good. I'll switch.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of people thinking they're going to the Windows new laptop, but they're getting to be even dearer than the Macs, but Macs don't have an offering in there, whereas that's where Windows is winning out.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, Jeff, I'll let you know how the cameras turn out. We'll be picking them up tomorrow in the morning, and then
you watch Dan Wilson, because Dan Wilson's got his, and he's just done a video.
Oh, did he? I'll have to go check.
Dan Watson.
Dan Watson. Yep.
Watson. So he was just had his.
Yep.
Oh, I'm excited for you. So you're going tomorrow, are you?
Yeah, we're going to go down to Sammy's, pick them up, and then I'll do some testing in the afternoon, because we've got to come in and do some work tomorrow. So I'll probably test a little bit and see how they turn out. I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. I'm excited.
I said I'm so annoyed I don't live there, because I could help you out by testing out the cameras, filming you while you're working.
Oh yeah, we could have all sorts of fun. Yeah.
And then I wouldn't have to lay out for mine as well. So.
Well, anyway, Jeff, it's always a pleasure doing the show together, and more stuff coming. There's all sorts of new tech coming, so it should be a fun year. I'm not buying a lot this year. This is probably going to be my only camera purchase this year. I'm tired of buying cameras, but these, I that's how much I like my GH4. I said, you know what, I'm going to invest in these two.
Yes,
but I don't know. I think my next camera is going to be camcorders again.
Yeah, but they said that might be the best way, but because they do a great thing, and I'm still waiting for that report from you from the file size. That if I'm going to get really excited if it does one big file, but I don't think so.
I don't think it does. No, it'd be nice, but I doubt it. So anyway, well, have a good one, Jeff. And if you're watching in the audience, I hope you enjoyed the show, and come on back. We do it every week. So have a good one, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on Tech Down Over. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.